You're listening to a very special edition of my podcast. We just had a class where I had the privilege once again to teach my favorite topic of them all, which is improvisation. Why is it my favorite topic? That's what I started to teach initially. And if you're paying attention to things in a very, very honest manner, you realize that no matter what may appear to be the problem, at the core, whether it's communication with yourself, internal communication, with others, seduction, problems at work, problems with the opposite sex, relations, finances, no matter what it is or simple things on a daily basis, when those something become a problem, when we reach that place where we don't know what to do with it, suddenly we're no longer flowing. That is why the idea of being able to improvise goes way beyond finding flow in your self-expression. It's also the number one, in my own humble opinion, remedy to survive and succeed in life. I want to get to drilling. I want to answer your questions. I want this to impact you, if you're ready for it, way and above and beyond what you thought you could experience by listening. And this is just an introduction. In the meantime, the first thing we need to clarify, if you're under the impression that for whatever reason, you are unable to express yourself freely, and you bound yourself to a limiting identity, and you staying consistent with that identity, you need to, as rapidly as possible, kill that false sense of identity. Now, if we remove identity, what is left? Nothing. So a better way to do it would be to complement your identity. So if you have been under the impression that you're introverted, that you're soft-spoken, that you're not very social, know that first, there could be some value there. Maybe everybody's talking a little too much and you're able to withhold information. There's always a time and a place for everything. So I would let go of fighting. I would recognize the value, even if minimal. 2, be certain that you remind yourself that is not all that you are. The potential is within already. So that's a big step right there, a big part of it. Whatever you believe that you are or you are not, it's like the command center on a computer. The rest depends on it. So you need to start to broaden your sense of identity. It's okay to have a preference, but that preference should never be a dependence. And it's better to also know that who you are is pure potential. So when and where and how it serves, you could be more social. The potential is already within you. If what you hear collapses or clashes a little bit with what you believe, that's a good indication that you must absolutely make some headways there. I'm receiving the funniest text. Somebody texting me that they just had sex. What am I doing bad? Interesting. So I'll answer that afterwards. So if you go, well, but I am, that's your answer right there. Your solution is start to play with your sense of identity. You also have to realize how much of a necessity expressing yourself more freely is. Next, that silly-ass concept of anxiety. We need to know that, sure, we don't deny the fact that it's sometimes possible for a person to feel a manifestation of feelings and experience some emotions and thoughts and a blend of it all, which because they're invisible, we just give them names, but we don't exactly know the true biochemistry of it. But it's totally, absolutely possible that a person feels rather uncomfortable. But what is it? Is it that they are cursed with anxiety? No. I'm opening doors. You do whatever you want with those doors. But be fast at embracing superior theories. So for me, it's only one thing. At the core, everything is energy. If you try to contain something in a container that is smaller than that which you want to contain, like putting a cage around a tiger, okay, then the tiger doesn't know where to go. So repression is the problem. Why don't you flip your frame around? One frame that is deadly, and you're going to struggle, it's not going to change, is to think that who you are is not capable of being social, is not capable of speaking freely, is not capable of finding flow and constantly talking about another thing and knowing where to take it no matter what may be. But that maybe if you get rid of your anxiety, then if you change your past, if you go back to fixing your parents that never taught you to be social. Like, what parents teach their kids to be social? Maybe us if we ever have kids, but prior. So that's never going to go anywhere. Instead, know that you had it backwards. Who you are is pure potential. Your masculinity just wants to express itself. It's been repressed through rules, regulation in schools, the judgment of people who were just fucking people, and who were they to know, to label you, to judge your intelligence. See, if anybody judges the potential of somebody else, what potential do they have? They have the credential. So what? Okay? So if instead you're the king that went dormant, you didn't know it, and you have energy and it wants to express, you have those ideas, all of that, and the manifestation of the weird feelings is because you're repressing. So you got to start to express more freely. Find a stronger foundation. Ultimately, if you're serious about it, change your sense of identity and change your mindset and explanation of what happens when you're not expressing yourself freely, and flip the frame around. You're not less and you need more. You are more and you've been thinking less. And because of that energy that's within you, life force, your own creativity, your own power, your own ideas, your own voice has been repressed for too long. It wants to come out. It doesn't know where to go. So you blush, you shake, you feel awkward, you swallow your saliva in a weird way. That is not necessary. Then you start today to drill in a whole new way. I give you 3 simple, surreal exercises. I promise you, you do them on a daily basis, but there's a trick to it. I will tell you the trick afterwards. You do them on a daily basis, you will witness so much progress. You can hear them now and do them on your own. These are the most basic ones, okay? The prerequisite for my material that takes you a little further. The first one is whatever is there, learn how to do it even better, to express it a little bit more greatly. So if, for example, you go, I don't really know, do that more. I'm totally stuttering. I'm really uncomfortable right now. I don't know what to say. I'm sweating in. I probably should speak more, but I'm not. And then almost like you being giving a role in a movie, and you got to play that role. Play it better, do it more, do it louder, add some words so you're not working against it. You're working with it to create your flow. It feels a little silly. Do it for full force. Do it every day. You got to find your little stumble, because maybe for you could easily say hello, but it's all after that. Same thing. And then do your pickup from that place. Me, my pickup is very organic. From the get-go, I don't look for something out there. I don't reuse openers that I've used before unless they pop to mind. I go with what's there, and if what's there is me going, I open like that. I go, I'm not even, okay, I want to talk to you, and let me restart this. I don't know. I've been stuttering today. Maybe that's you. It's your fault. You're making me stutter. Yeah? So whatever is there, know that you're not limited to experience it, voice it in one way. There's not only one rendition. So ask yourself, what would be another way to experience that? That's your first exercise. Your second exercise is super simple, because I think that too often we get used to speaking briefly, softly, and not using our body very much. So the basic would be speak a little louder, speak a little longer, and speak a little more loosely. Where and when can you begin? Any everyday situation. It may seem silly, it may seem overly basic, but it's in the doing that the difference is found. Let's say you go to the store and normally you go, thank you. All right, so let's say that a little louder, everybody. Thank you. What word could we add to thank you? So you loop it, you go, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I like the store. I'll be back soon. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. I like the store, but it's my first time seeing you here. Anyway, you got other people in line. I better be fast. At some point, it's going to get too long, so start with another simple sentence and write this down. Simple, okay? Get used to whatever you are already saying. Make it a little longer. How do you make it longer? You can repeat, yeah, I appreciate the store. I really appreciate the store. This is a cool store. With a touch of variation around. You can add a few little words from I appreciate the store. Yeah, I got to tell you, the funny thing, it may seem weird, but I do appreciate the store. Fill in with little words, okay? Say it a little bit louder. In any environment, whatever is a little louder, whatever is a little longer, a little more significant will overrule the rest. And then make sure that you're touch looser, use your feet, move a little bit more. So you do that simple exercise. There's two things that might come in the way. The first one, if you start to do this simple exercise and you come to it from the perspective of I should work on this because I cannot do this right now, it's not who I am, you're going to wrestle with it. So you got to right away come from like, hey, I'm the king that went dormant. I'm repressing my natural ability, existing ability to express myself freely. Let it come out, let it flow, let it roll, let it go wherever it needs to go. Then the second pitfall is if you go back to the problem. You go, yeah, but you see, my problem is, no. At the core, my problem is sometimes, if there's a friend, I don't know what to say with the friend. Trust me, that probably won't even be an issue when you express yourself more freely and more potently. I experiment, guys. I'm in field every single day for now over 2 decades. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to further help you. So on any given day, I'm a long way from like, oh, I want to get a girl and so on. I got girls and I can get girls. So I turn it into a deeper study. So I go, okay, I'm curious a bit. For the next block, you are going to come from a place where you speak a little more loudly, you walk a little more freely, and you do your pickup and see where it goes. Now, you do the exact same thing for the next block, and you hold back, and you hold back just a touch. It's night and day. It's fucking night and day. I've had clients who witnessed that. I said, watch this. Right now, it's still me. It's the same location. It's Hollywood, and it's still girls. They're pretty much kind of the same. But watch how much of a difference it makes, okay? Because it generates clients. So I'm eager to hear from you to elevate this call, to take it even further. Because this is about improvisation and pure self-expression, you got to dive in. You got to be. The birds got to step out of the nest. The child got to enter the pool. That is up to you to commit to do it. You can tiptoe for a touch, but it's got to start somewhere somehow. So use also every opportunity. My first initial step in expressing myself more freely was to use every single opportunity, be it an elevator, be it a conversation with my mother, be it at the store, be it just me talking to myself, be it me asking for direction, be it me just thanking somebody at the gas station. I would seize every opportunity. If I would have found myself on this call, even if I felt a little awkward, even if I wasn't sure if I really had something to say, I would have made sure that I would seize the opportunity. The sum total of how often you voice yourself more freely is what will make the biggest difference. So who's going to embrace that principle and work with it and voice a question, an observation, a request, feedback on the exercise, clarification? I remain silent for a second, but then I also want those who listen afterwards to not have to listen to too much silence. So I give you 15 seconds while I sip on my yerba to voice a question. Okay, that's more than 15 seconds. If you are muted, you press *6 to unmute. I'm a little surprised that no one is stepping up. No judgment, okay? Let's talk about a phenomenon that is subtle, but it's so fucking strong, okay? I heard a little buzz on the line. Maybe somebody was ready to ask a question. Okay, when you guys ready. But let's talk about a subtle manifestation that I want to help you decode, crack the code, and rewire. For that, we did exercises all weekend long. You do need to get the resources. You always ask yourself, how important is this for you? But I'm going to tell you, this is the most important fucking thing in your life. Everywhere you're going to go, anytime you come across human, be the difficult people in line that you want to know where you can find something at the store, and their best fucking answer is like, I don't know, we don't have it. Be the person that's reluctant and you know that they could make the exception and they're not making the exception. The family member, the next hot girl you're going to see, the girl that will second guess herself. See, without the ability to flow in communication, automatically, girls are going to second guess themselves. So you got to master this art. You got to realize how necessary it is for you, for your family, for your finances. Because even if you're a very self-reliant person and you operate your own business, that business constitutes of other people. So, at the core, through repetition, we begin to do things automatically. Get that? Through repetition, we do things automatically. Now, what would consist of repetition? Imagine a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 9 years. That's a lot of repetition. So 5 days a week at least, we're in a setting where at times we have to verbalize something or say an answer, and it could be the right one or it could be the wrong one. Plus, at the first fucking place, we didn't volunteer to be there. We didn't ask to be there. We're kind of forced to be there. If for whatever reason we don't say the right answer, and sometimes even if we say the right answer, we could be called a teacher's pet, and children could always mock anybody. Oh, the brain. I remember there was a kid in my school that was very intelligent. But then the nickname became, oh, it's the brain. Of course, you always know the answer. You think you're smarter than us? So little by little, even the fucking brain doesn't feel free to voice whatever they want. So we're constantly facing that bind, or it could be right, it could be wrong. If it's wrong, you know the drill. Okay? You could be reprimanded. You could be punished. You will certainly deal with the shit of other people, other kids, teachers, the principal, and so on. So, of course, it makes sense that years of that, kind of the same thing at work, kind of the same thing with peer pressure. You got to be cool. You're not being cool, and so on. So no wonder why suddenly you go, hey, anybody has a question? Hey, there's a pretty girl. Why don't you say something to her? We go to that word place. That word place is a hypnotic illusion. Here's the exercise for that. You're not in that workplace all the time. But I've seen people. See, one thing that I know I can do, and I was hired at some point to work with actors and destabilize them. It doesn't matter how fluent the communicator might be. There's going to be a time when somebody presents something and they reach file not found. In that moment, the body may tense suddenly. There's a weird manifestation inside. It seems very real. It seems very strong. It seems that it's all there is. So first, without judging yourself, why don't you do an assessment for the next couple of days, and you notice through the day, it might be a different setting. Maybe suddenly you're introduced to somebody that's a mover and shaker in your industry, so you're like, oh, hi, perplexed. Maybe there's a potential threat. Maybe you're a little tired and you didn't expect somebody was going to talk to you. Maybe you don't feel it at the time, where suddenly you find yourself in that place that's so awkward. Don't judge it. Just go, the awkward place. And as you notice it, one day you just notice it mentally. Interesting. Don't judge it. The second day, when you find yourself in that awkward place, take a breath, take a step to the side, and laugh and go, I went to that awkward place. Just to rewire your energy, your system, and reboot your system. And then on the third day, you start to think, what could I do differently during that moment? And usually we simply go in the wrong direction. We tense because we try to think what we should do, and that tension prevents the flow of doing. So me, when I get to that weird place, I just move a little bit more. I ease a touch more. I breathe a little more. I speak a little more. Even if I stumble, even if I stutter, even if at first it feels awkward, and it diffuses itself. And here I am back in flow. Now, what's the big picture benefit of that? The jackpot of it is that little by little you realize that this is not uncommon, that everybody goes to that workplace. Now, not only you have the solution for yourself, you have it for others, but you have the benefit. You have the edge. So now you can cause other people to go to that place, advanced persuasion and seduction. You can take people out of that place, or you can know that they are in that place and you don't go there yourself. So automatically you have the edge. So I'm thrilled about this. A very genuine recommendation. You're listening to this. There is a link where you can get the entire course. The course consists of drills, 4 models that I created, that are refined through time. One is the accelerated acting, to model the best of the best from the acting field. Then infinite input is a brand new model, which is the flow is already within. You're lying to yourself if you think you don't know what to say. You're just not attuned. You are bothered by what you thought was bothering you, and you're missing out on the internal input. So to rekindle with that. Then one of the models is also instant input to come up with something when you don't know how to come up with something. And one of the models is to just create more flow. You have those 4 models. We drill them, we demonstrate them, and then so it's several hours of that on HD recording. Then AZD did a masterpiece, he broke down the step to improvise, the essence, the structure of it. Of course, he was there with his girls, so you have all of that captured on video as well. And then we do a bonus 3 hours on finding more about the submodalities, more simple exercises, more drills, the recommendation of a system to follow every day. If you click on the link, once you listen to the recording, you can get those 8 spectacular hours called Infinite Improvisation. Meanwhile, here, as we're still live, what questions would you have? Or I just hang upon you guys.
Vince, it's Mitch. I got a question.
Hi, Mitch. How are you? So good to hear your voice. What is your question, Mitch?
Okay, I want to grow in the area of attunement, of emotional attunement. The area of being able to see subtle movements and subtle facial expressions within people, and then respond accordingly. What exercises or what would you recommend to?
Oh, I love that question. I really love this, Mitchell. See,
I love it too. That's why I asked.
We were able to dive deeper into the core. So, gentlemen, Some of you may have heard what Mitchell said, and you never even thought about it. That's not what you want. But everybody, there is something that you want. There are things that I want. So at the core, just like a computer has, there's got to be, whatever it is in the world, there's a point of origin. Okay? There's a point, there's a source of the river. Something starts, something comes before something else. So first things first. Anything in life, no matter how bad you want it, that you approach from what I call OR. OR stands for it's out of reach. Doesn't mean it's out of reach forever, but I don't know that it's already present right here and right now. It's outside. I'm not in it now. Becomes impossible. Instead, we approach from IA, instant access. Now, Mitch, you're talking about little nuances and subtle distinctions and so on. If you're walking down the street, and suddenly a car comes, I bet you're going to avoid it. What is it that allows us each day that each time we grab an object, we don't fucking drop it? Here and there, maybe you were focused on something else, but I don't see people like 9 times out of 10, they grab the fucking cup, they drop it. 9 times out of 10, they wanted to enter the door, they missed it. They hit. So that which allows us to know when we're driving, when we're doing all those things. Even typing, how the fuck does the finger know after a while to recognize? Can you type your number, air type your number because you know the motion of it? See, 3233093219. I don't need the numbers. My fingers know where to go. So instant access starts with the recognition of the existence, maybe not all the way and maybe not everywhere, in the now, the possibility. And I've been teaching for decades, and I always see a split in my classes, but now I expose it so we no longer face that split. See, yesterday was very interesting. Midst of the improvisation class, we have a spectacular group. Everybody's fucking awesome. We have a gentleman. He's been in sale. He speaks quite a bit. Suddenly he hears what I say, and he processes it from a place of, this is within reach, instant access. He knows he can refine it. He does not pretend that he knows it all. But suddenly he starts to flow. And for him, it starts to grow. I detect, and I help them further, that a few, they carry with themselves that false impression that it's not here right now. So if you are unaware of how it's here right now, start with that. Start go, what are all the little ways in which it could be here to some degree? And you start with that. Also, when we deal with the practical, okay, I got 3 bags, I got 2 hands, I can take 2 with one hand, 1 with the other one. I can handle this. Now you deal with calibration. It's invisible. How do you know the density of it? I mean, it's like, are we talking 500 miles as an example? Or are you talking a little step to the left? So watch, because my experience has been that there's an underestimation of your power as a human, as a spiritual being having a human experience that has too many under the impression that, number closing a girl, or escalating, or all of that is like way far out there, when in fact, you're there. You're there. As a coach, you work one-on-one with me, I'm going to say, you're there. But until you come from that new frame, you're going to wrestle, you're going to struggle. And then, here's what you got to do. There's another very similar challenge for everybody. If we exist in lack or problem, that becomes our preoccupation. Now from there, we want to reach for more and for solution. Yet, Einstein said it, the fastest way out of a problem is in the solution. What we don't realize subconsciously, let's say a guy for like 2-3 days, 2-3 weeks, he's like, there's that girl, she's not texting. So now, every time he thinks about girl or texting, the nature, the core of it is like, she is not texting. It's not. That becomes an obsession. And we all have our own obsession. Give us a little bit of a tiny struggle, we start to obsess about it. Suddenly, the person is exposed to a solution. It's always a simple solution, and you got to start somewhere. The problem is that oftentimes, first they put problem before solution. So you can't be the guy who goes, insists that there's still a problem, there is a lack, and then you try a solution. You got to be the guy of, I'm fed up with the problem, solution only. Or if they go into the solution, there's a residue of the problem that slows down the solution or pollutes the solution. I'll give you a typical example. You tell a guy, okay, number close is fairly easy. At some point, you pull out your phone, you talk, you use your body, and you go, yeah, you're fun. I don't know. I'm very busy, but maybe we'll be in touch. That's not the ultimate and only number close, but let's say you take that one. Now, the guy still is under the impression that he tried, he didn't get a number before, and he does that number close. He practices it, but half-assed because a big part of him is still preoccupied by the problem. So he misses out. So the higher solution is this. You want that level of calibration? Do only one thing. Each day, in a very alpha way, full force, drill. That was one of my strengths. I'm not special. It was just a random thing. 10 years in music schools, the best music schools in the world, which consisted aiming at being a pro, being surrounded by pros, to wake up in the fucking morning. The competitive aspect, suddenly, my roommate at Berklee College of Music is fucking playing the drums 12 hours a day. How can I compete with this guy? I got to do 12 hours. So it consisted of, here's the exercise, do it again, do it better, do it slower, do it faster, move to the next exercise. So suddenly, I found an inclination towards improvisation. I always love women. I'm an artist. I love to communicate. So when I came across resources, I did not enter going, yeah, but see, my problem is, how do I want? All three, even the higher one of I want. I just say, what can I do right now? And I did it, and I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again. And any new thing that I pick up from my colleagues, we're preparing for the Cosmic Code. So suddenly, I'm speaking with Brian Casella. Brian Casella, he shares a couple of simple tips for business and so on. I don't go, I wanna. I go, okay, got this, do it. Do it again, do it better, do it faster. And I have no room for the problem, and I don't do it in reference of a problem. I do it with the commitment to mastery, to repetition, going full force in it. I speak with my brother Eddie. I've been at it forever. I was one of the first guys. I lined up 12 girlfriends and this and that. Never those to the extent that AZD is doing it. Yesterday he shared one idea, two ideas. I do it right away. It's doing. Okay, so we have an addiction to talking about the problem, to sleeping with the problem, to swimming in the problem. And that is maybe something that is a model that works elsewhere, but this is a practical thing. Nobody's going to get better at improvising until they do. So the real question is, number one, are you really ready and willing to make a difference? You got to ask yourself, okay? Because we see it. I have plenty of guys who say, oh, yeah. I go, okay, here's the solution. Oh, no. So sometimes we're more busy debating than wanting the solution. Then get the resources and then use the resources daily. Okay, time. I know, it's not easy. We swamped every day. Me too, all of us. So what's the solution with time? Do it the alpha way. Do it full force. Do it all the way. 5 minutes, time yourself. I dare all of you guys. My first dare is this. It's for you. If you really want the results, if you're true to you, if you're not just like debating like a chick that's on the fence, maybe, maybe not. But you came here, whether you like me or not, you hear me talk. Yeah, I'm a talker. You can't shut me up. I dare anybody to toss something at me, any field, anything, whomever you are, outside of my field of expertise, I will play with it. That's my superpower right there. So you come to the right person for that, okay, whether you like me or not. Then, I dare you, you take the 3 exercises that I gave you today, and you do them every day, 5 minutes, that's 15 minutes. And you don't try to make a decision whether or not it's working after 1 day. No, 30 days. Anybody that does that, I don't need to know what they're going to report, because I know. They're going to be, wow! But then there's a next level, 15 minutes a day. Okay? They used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. 15 minutes of drills a day resolve all those silly ass problems of I should be, I haven't, girls, this, they don't text, how do you? That's it. Now, that's my first dare. The second dare is, you're really serious. Okay? $77 divided by 10 days is $7.70. Divided by 100 days is 70 cents or 77 cents. Okay? I'm not saying that's because I care about the program. I'm saying that because I care about what the program can do for you. So right there, you're free, but you're going to spend your money somewhere. So get the fucking program and then drill every single day and exist only in the solution. Action. Take that gift. Many people quote Einstein. Einstein was just another human like us. Okay? It's a little sad that people will frame someone as a genius and then people compare themselves. All due respect to him, but I would not see him as special. He had his specialty, and he tapped into some special ways. But he's not any superior. He's from the same source than me. He said it.
Nice.
Be only in the solution. I hear this, I go, sure. That's it. At a practical level, we understand that. You want to clean your place. Should you keep any dirt? No. You want a new reality. Should you keep any of the problems? So drill. Drill with the proper mindset. The core of the mindset, I stated a moment ago, is simple. Everybody contemplate. Wherever in my life, I don't realize that I already have the resources within me and I'm capable of headways in the now, and even beyond that, I'm already doing it. I'm already doing it. I want to expose you to a reality. Some guys go, they're not social. What a fucking lie. What bullshit that is. Let's estimate how many words you have voiced from the moment you were able to voice words. What would you say? Let's estimate. If you're not sure, let's spend the next couple hours count how many words. Oh, I don't talk much. What about inside your mind? It's inevitable. See, everybody wants to meditate and silence their mind. They quickly realize that, wow, good luck. It's going to talk inside. So you talk nonstop. You accumulate the days, the weeks, the month, the years. How many people have you interacted? Maybe you're not the prime seducer that you wish you would be, but how often, think about this, you have gotten something. As simple as, I want to go to the store, I got it. Even as a child, you probably influenced or persuaded through crying, through this, through that. So we're all dormant masters at it. That's my frame. Embrace frames that strengthen you, that empower you. Don't rehearse the same old bullshit story that limits you and shrinks you. And you're free. The first place where we got to exercise freedom is to not bind ourselves to a story. And even if the story is pretty good, make it better. Even if your story is super good. And embrace higher frames, higher reality. Take 2 people, go to one of them and tell them, yeah, you don't really have it, you're not social and so on. You bought into that at some point or another. Take the other person and constantly reinforce, hey, make no mistake. There's not one gesture you could ever make in your communication with a woman that you haven't at some point, maybe when you were opening a door, maybe when you were reaching for something on a shelf that you already haven't done. There's not one muscle that you will use as you communicate freely that you haven't already used. You've been around millions of people, millions of situations. Even if you haven't traveled much, you've been exposed to billions of information every day. You're already fully equipped with an ability to recognize things, to associate, to embrace, to also start something and shaky steps, mumbling words, and suddenly you flow and you do it unconsciously. So truth is this. It's the one-person bullshit, false explanation and understanding and approach that represents the 99% of the greatness, the miracle, the mechanics. Everything is already within. So you fit in one or two categories. You fit in the category that lets the 1% decide and cripples and shrinks and suffocates the 99%, or you fit in the category that recognizes, break through that 1%. But then what is that 1%? The 1% is the 1% of the people who are doing the right thing. Stop underestimating yourself. Then stop reviewing, rehearsing, and repeating and assuming the problem. Get the best possible resources and do everything that you can and top that and top that and top that. That is the model that I personally follow. Why do you think it is that I'm on this call every Monday since 2004, at the exception of here and there, traveling or inability to do it at the time? Why do you think that every single weekend you see something pop up on Facebook saying, we're teaching this, our next one is massive sexual momentum? Because I want to top it. I want to fully exercise that unique ability that's not unique. We all have it to express creativity in my own ways. I wish the same for you. Thank you, Mitch, for your question. New website, check it out. It's phenomenal. It's vincekelvin.com. Brand new website, free resources, articles, drills await you. Go to vincekelvin.com. More resources for improvisation. There's a link in the description. And of course, we're 39 days away from the cosmic code where the Avengers are gathering. AZD, Raj Japar, motherfucking Divas are, Hypnotica, myself, Frank White, James Hyman, Yogi Chris, Brian Casella, Catherine Allman, Fly Hudson, Joe Nicasio. It's tricky because I had to make sure I didn't omit anybody. Anthony Dillinger, all of us, we gather with only 30 of you for 4 entire days in the best location on the planet, Hollywood, California. 6 epic venues for variety to expand your mind. It's a format that's half a boot camp and half a super event. It contains entertainment, trance, it's interactive, and we touch on every aspect from spiritual to seduction to sex to fitness to fashion to business, all in one shot. It's called the Cosmic Code. Limited enrollment. We're reaching the 30 participant max. There's the option of watching it remotely. The price is not different. Meanwhile, thank you, everybody, and it was a true pleasure. Re-listen and get that improvisation resource I'm talking about. It's a masterpiece. Good night, everyone.